Hey, everybody, and welcome to Unleash Your Inner Badass. In case we're meeting for the first time, we are four of the beaches. We call ourselves the beaches. And what we like to do is we help network marketers like you unleash your inner badass through these episodes of the Unleash Your Inner Badass podcast by shifting your mindset. Helping you drop baggage and really shifting those inner beliefs to align with whatever goal, target you set your mind to. We want to talk a little bit about ability versus capacity. And to start this out, clear back when I first started learning how to drive, I actually drove a 1998 dark blue Saturn. And for those of you who are watching, let me know if you drove a kind of a janky car like a Saturn. Like, it was kind of pieced together. It was used. It was like a salvage title, so it had been in an accident. It shook like as you drove it. It was one of those cars that, like, my dad was like, I feel like it's safe enough for you to drive it. I had bought it with my own money. But he's like, I feel like it's safe enough for you to drive it, but don't be taking it further than like a town away so that I can come and save you in the event that you break down. That was kind of the car that I drove. And I remember when my husband Whit and I first got married, I started going to school and I had a job out in Richfield, Utah, so I lived in Salina. Richfield is like 15 minutes away, but I would have to leave early in the mornings. And we live in like the Rocky Mountains. Okay. So like the base of the Rocky Mountains is where we live. And when it snows. And I remember one morning as I was making my way to school, I was sliding all over the road in this janky little Saturn. And I remember I was sitting there and I was scared. Like, there was times where I stopped. I had big vehicles that were like passing me, on the road. There was probably a good 1.5 to 2 feet of snow on the road, and it was pure ice underneath. I was sliding everywhere, and I got about halfway between Salina and Richfield, and I pulled over to the side of the road crying, and I said a prayer, and I was like, God, I'm not going to live. Like, I know that I am not going to make it to work without your help. And literally right after that happened, within 5 minutes, a snowplow came, and he passed me, and I was able to get on the road and follow this snowplow to Richfield. And I made it there safely. And you might think like that's the end of the story. But for us as entrepreneurs, I want you to imagine that you have this mountain that you're climbing, right? Because in anything that we build, John Maxwell says it best, anything worth having, it's uphill, right? He does like that visual. It's uphill. You're on your way up this mountain. And depending on your business, depending on the industry you're in, you might be like I was in this little janky Saturn trying to make your way up this mountain pass with 2 feet of snow and pure ice on the ground, wondering how in the heck you're going to make it. So that's kind of what we want to talk about today, is finding a snowplow. Finding a snowplow that has paved the way before you to help you make your way up this mountain path. And one step further, because if you don't know who to follow, if you're in like an industry that's new, right? And you're like, who do I follow? Who do I learn from? It might be time that you build yourself a snowplow. Yeah. So what do you think about this, ladies? Let's discuss.
I want to touch a point that we started with two concepts, ability versus capacity. I want to bring it back to that point. Majority of people take action from the point of their ability. Like, you're in the Saturn, right, on the icy road, and that's all you able to do right now. And a lot of people give up because they think, well, that's all I have. This is my ability. There's no snow plows around. There's no angels coming down from that mountain to save me, right? And actually they give up because they think that their ability, their Saturn, is not gonna, help them to make it on top of the mountain. And it's true. If we only think from our ability, we're going to stay at the bottom of that mountain crying that my vehicle is so janky, it's done, right? That's all I can do. So this is your ability, and majority of people operate from that state of mind. I only can do so much because that's how much
This is
I've
all
done in the
this is all
past.
I'm good at. Like, this is what I'm capable of. This is what I'm good at. This is what I know. And you never actually think about what you might be able to do, what you might be able to accomplish in life. Sorry, Carrie. Kat, you carry
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
So and that's pretty much how we all start.
Mm.
If that's your thinking, it's okay. But we want to open up your thinking. We want to broaden it up and then introduce to you another concept that's called capacity, where, like in Carrie's case, she just opened the door to other possibilities, right? Because her Saturn wouldn't make it on its own. She
Mhm.
opened the door to possibilities, and her capacity was actually unlimited. There could be a plow truck coming that did come. There could be a helicopter coming to rescue her. There could be an airplane. There could be other people stopping by and giving her a ride, right? The possibilities are endless when you're thinking from capacity
Mhm.
versus ability. So that's what I wanted to introduce these two different concepts.
Well, and I love this. And I love that these two analogies kind of go together because when we're approaching this mountain, we have a choice on what vehicle we want to step in to climb the mountain, right? We have the ability to follow a snowplow depending on our industry. I think that it's safe to say that for the majority of our audience that's listening, there is a snowplow,
Mhm.
right? There is a snowplow that you can follow. And what's great is that as you do the inner work, as you drop the baggage, right? I mean, I want you to think about what type of vehicle are you right now? What type of baggage might you be holding on to that is keeping you stuck in the janky Saturn when you could, if you did the inner work, if you started to unleash that inner badass inside your mind that we talk about each week here on this podcast, you could be in a Ford F-350 with snow tires, right? So I want you to think like, I'm approaching this mountain. Maybe you're in the climb right now. Ask yourself, what type of vehicle am I? Am I holding on to the past? I want to get deep into this in this episode because it's important to understand what type of vehicle is going to make it to the top of the mountain. It's not to say that you're broken. It's not to say that you don't have what it takes. But if we don't do the work needed to be able to step into capacity,
Upgrade your
then
vehicle.
upgrade your vehicle, then you're going to be like I was, stuck on the side of the road thinking I'm never going to be able to do this.
So it's up to you to upgrade that vehicle, and don't think that that's all you have based on your past
Mm-hmm.
experiences and abilities. So it's kind of like another inspiration that we recently got. Most of us, actually, 90% of people operate from the filter of their past.
Mm-hmm.
Like they bring it into the present and they live their whole entire life based on what happened to them in the past. Or I'm too shy because someone made fun of me when I was little. Oh, I'm just introverted, or I'm not lucky, or I am whatever that you're telling yourself, literally making up excuses
Mm-hmm.
not to. It's comfortable to be in the Saturn, right? You know where all the buttons are, you know where's the brake and the gas, and you've been in that vehicle all your life up until this point. So it's kind of scary to look at that Ford 350 with chains on the tires. It's massive. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to get into this monster. It's so humongous. That's not who I am. But it's up to you to start working on your inner self. That's your energy matches that massive Ford 350. I don't know if there's even anything higher than that. Probably there is, but I'm not a car person. But anyways, so what I'm trying to say is that it's up to you to start upgrading your vehicle because you are the vehicle. And instead of letting your past influence your present and your future, you actually need let your future vehicle, because there's no limits to what kind of vehicle can take you up there, right?
Mhm.
You need to start letting your future self, your future vehicle, actually dictating your present and influencing your future. So this is my
So how
50.
do we do that? Yep. So what are some, so we have some tips, and it's actually, so we just got back from Funnel Hacking Live last week. We, at that event, earned the 2CCX award, which was incredible. And we got to learn from and hear from some very influential, awesome people. And it was actually, I think, Jody Moore who gave us some tips on how you can actually step into that, right? How you can upgrade your vehicle so that you're able to make your way up this mountain. I'm going to start with tip number 2, because I didn't take a picture of tip number 1, but tip number 2 is surrounding yourself with people who actually nudge you into capacity, right? So think about, who are you surrounding yourself with? There's that saying that says you are like the 5 people that you surround yourself with the most. So who are you surrounding yourself with? What rooms are you in? I also love the phrase, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
Right? In order for us to even have the comprehension of what it's like to live in capacity, we have to be surrounding ourselves with people that we feel like are doing the impossible.
Yeah.
Right? If we're just getting started and we've never been around or known anybody that's made $100 million a year, $100 million in a year probably seems impossible to a lot of people. So why don't we start surrounding ourselves with those people that to us are doing the impossible? Because for us, when you do that, that's one of the quickest, surefire ways for you to step into capacity and to start looking at your life through your future selves filter rather than your past filter.
I want to bring up another analogy based on that. So we just got a 10X award, meaning we made over $10 million in our business. And I would say that we are Ford F-350 with a big F and a big chain. So we kind of like, we made it, right? Where a lot of people want to make. We're at the place where we already like a plow for a lot of people. We paved the way, but we were surrounded during that event last week with people who are on the rocket ships. Like Ford F-150 for them, it's like last century. They're in the rocket ship. And we looked at those people and we're like, dang, I want a rocket ship too. Like, what Ford F-350? We've done that. Like, we're not there anymore. So we upgraded our future selves, our mindset into the rocket ship. Like, we're no longer $10 million business to me. We are $100 million business. Like, in our mind, we already sitting in a rocket, ready to launch. Like, so surround yourself with people who are there already, right? And they will pull you through from your Saturn. They might even connect your Saturn to their rocket ship and take you straight to the top, right? So, but it's all inner work. So, and don't be kind of like, if you are in a Saturn internally, that's your inner world right now, right? You're still living in the past and thinking you can't and it's too hard. It's up to you. You can be in that Saturn, but just being surrounded by people who are in a rocket ship, you will be pulled with their forces, with their belief, with their ideas, with their energy. So this is how powerful it is. So watch out, everyone. We are in the freaking rocket ship.
Kat, did you have tip number 1 that we
Tip
could give
number
them?
1 is what do you feel yourself pulled towards? So think about, paying attention to those crazy dreams, those crazy goals that you feel pulled towards. And maybe you're thinking, well, that's just impossible. I could never do it. But pay attention to those dreams, to those desires, to those goals that maybe you're frightened to actually even tell anybody about, because people might laugh at you and say, well, you're never going to get there. No, that goal is there and you can achieve it if you pay attention to it and find that plow, that snow plow, find that rocket ship of the people who are there. Okay, because those are the people who are going to drive you. Those are the people who are going to help you and lift you up, and that you connect with, that no, your goals aren't crazy. We're there already. We can help you get there. It's masterminding with those people who are already there, that you can draw from their wisdom, from what they've already done before, and help yourself get there. But your dreams are not silly. Your dreams are not crazy. Okay. And sometimes,
I was about to say, if you're surrounded by people that are telling you that they are,
they're the wrong people.
Leave that room and enter another surrounded by the people that are going to pull you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those people who, maybe you think, well, I'm not good enough to be there. Like, who am I to think that I could actually be in the same room as these badasses who are who have these $100 million companies, these badasses who, are changing the world. Pay attention to those dreams. Okay. Listen to those dreams. Listen to those desires that are deep inside that. Yeah.
I want to know some of your guys' wildest dreams that maybe you're even afraid to acknowledge them in your own head. They're so big that you're like, oh, that's never going to happen to me. And that's because you projecting it from your ability.
And you're projecting it from your past self as well. Like you're letting your past influence your present, as opposed to living in your future self and letting the future influence your present self.
Yeah. So what are your wildest dreams that maybe no one ever heard about? So whatever your dream is, know that you might not know how you're going to get there, and it's totally fine. It's actually another caveat that we don't pursue our dreams because we don't know how we're going to get there. And that's okay. Usually, a lot of times when we think that's how we're going to get there, it's not going to be the way actually how you're going to get there. So don't be stuck on the how, because you don't know the how right now, right? All you have to focus on is what is it that you actually want, right? What is that dream, and operate from the capacity. And your capacity is unlimited. So when you're going to start operate from the capacity, the right people will show up in your way. The plow trucks will show up and show you what one of the ways it can be done. The helicopter will show up and show you one of the ways how it can be done. The other people will show up and pull you out and will show you how it might be done. So it's not your responsibility right now to know the how. You only have to know the what, and the right people, the right ideas, the right tools, they will find you, just because you're operating from capacity and those unlimited possibility, rather than your ability that's based on, well, I just don't know how because I've never done it before.
Yeah. And your abilities, like sometimes you think about your abilities is things that you are really good at, things that you know that you are really good at, and you might be thinking, well, that's it. Okay, this is my life. This is what it's going to look like until I die. Okay. But if you let yourself think about, what could I be good at? Like what is that crazy thing that maybe I could be good at that? Pay attention to that. Okay. And find the people who are there, who are going to help you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the next step is then setting goals, and
we have different goals. So we were taught from stage, to set wild goals. However, we wanted to beachify it and kind of make it our own, because we're the beaches. We're beach boss influencers, right? And so we want you to set beach goals. Okay. So beach goals, B standing for being willing to fail, right? I don't know a single millionaire, billionaire out there that got there without failing at something. Anytime we've ever failed, and we don't look at it as a failure, because it's literally been because of that failure that we've made, it helps us make our next step, our next choice, our next plan of action that has led to success. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking I failed, you only fail if you quit. If you have, you set a goal and you didn't hit it, ask yourself, why didn't I hit it? What worked about what I did? What didn't? What might I do differently to get closer to that goal that I set? right? And we teach evaluation all the time. We're always talking about evaluation in this group, and it goes perfect with beach goals, because if you're willing to fail, you're willing to go all out, maybe not hit whatever, milestone you set, but then learn from it, turn around and continue to take action, you won't fail, my friend. It's just a matter of how fast you're going to get there.
So there was a great analogy that Myron Golden shared from the stage, where he spoke about eagles, okay, and eagles in a nest, all right, and the mama eagle comes in and feeds the babies every day, and eventually these eagles grow and they think, I wonder, I don't want to sit in this nest all day, and mama comes in one day and says, okay, jump on my back, we're going to fly. And the baby eagle climbs on the mother's back, and the mother eagle soars and goes, and then goes way up, and then lets the baby go, and the baby just drops. Okay, and like, wow, help me, I'm gonna die, oh my goodness, and drops, and mama eagle comes and picks her up and puts her back in the nest. Okay, and it happens day after day after day, and eventually the mama eagle picks the baby up and drops the baby, like same thing again, and eventually the baby is like let go, and then all of a sudden puts its wings out and it flies. And the law of advancement is that your growth, your path is never a straight line. It's going to be failure. You've got to go down before you can go up. It's the law of negatives, the law of opposites. There is no you watch a tree grow, okay? It's got to go down. It's got to lay the roots before it grows. If you want to go up, you need to know what the down is, okay? If you want,
and you need to be willing to go down.
And you need to be willing to go down. So think of that eagle, okay? It had to learn. It had to fail. How many times did it come out of the nest and fail? And the path didn't look like that everybody expects. Like, I want to make $100 million. It's not going to be like that. You are going to fail. And it may be multiple times that you are going to go down before you finally hit the up. And all we ever hear is the up. Like, here I am, I had a $10 million company, or I had a $100,000 company, and all of a sudden I've got $1 million company. I've got $1 million business. I've got a $10 million business. You don't hear about all the suck. You don't hear about all the times that somebody has failed, that somebody has, hit rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's going to happen. You just need to know.
It's the law.
It's the law. You just need to know that it's going to come, that the up is coming, but you got to go down before you can go up.
So be willing to fail. The E stands for entertain, right? So it's entertaining yourself. It's making it fun. Mm-hmm. Make it entertaining. Building a business is supposed to be fun. Life is supposed to be fun. And if you're all doom and gloom, nothing's working, oh, this sucks, that's the energy that you're projecting, and you're going to continue to go back. You're going to continue to stay stuck. If you can find the desire, right? If you can make it fun. So something that Beaches started doing from the very beginning, I remember we made our first $24 sale. And we started dancing. Like, we had this little dance.
We had a dance.
$24, right? But it was huge because that was the first $24 of Beach Boss Influencers. And then as we hit each milestone, we're continuing to dance. And then as we started to hit bigger milestones, it was treating ourselves to different things. It was treating our families, right? This last big milestone that we hit, we treated our families to a Mexico vacation, to celebrate and live in the moment, making it fun for not just us, but the people that support us the most, so that we have the fuel to be able to continue to climb.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, bringing that fun energy to your business, to yourself, is actually very attractive energy. That's what's going to help you to pull all those people to you, those people that you want to impact. So it's very powerful energy, and it's very attractive. So don't be afraid to be fun and be yourself at the same time.
Yep. And then A stands for anticipate the test from the universe. When you decide that you're going to go all in, when you draw your line in the sand and you're all like, I'm doing this, I'm upgrading from my Saturn to the F-150 or to the rocket ship or whatever it may be, God is going to test you. Again, it's part of the law. It's a law, right? Anything worth having you're going to have to fight for it. It's going to be uphill. Doesn't mean that it has to be doom and gloom. You can still have fun while the test is coming. But anytime, looking back, even before Beach Boss, I look at every big move in my business that I ever did. It was because the universe was testing me, because God was saying, okay, I see that you want this. I see that you have this vision, this desire for a bigger life. Let's see how hard you're willing to fight for it.
Yeah.
And then when I go in, I put on my boxing gloves and I go in fighting, that's when God says, okay. And because I'm fighting, because I'm let's say it as it is, working my ass off, towards it, God blesses you, right? God blesses you for it.
I want to point out to something. So when you going to make that huge commitment, huge investment, huge new move or whatever it is, and you're going to get tested, a lot of people, so it usually comes in a way where something's going to be taken away from you right away. It could be something health related, something relationship related, something money related. Usually the easiest one is something money related. For example, your car breaks down, you need a new car, you need the money for down payment, and your immediate reaction to quit, to pull back that investment because you need money for the car. Car seems more important suddenly,
One
right?
phrase that people will say is they'll say, oh, this is a sign I shouldn't do
This
it.
is the
Yeah.
sign I shouldn't have done that, right? Because I need the money for something else. That most people will quit, they'll pull the money, they'll cancel the transaction because the car suddenly becomes their survival mechanism and they need it. But we've been in that survival mechanism for so long. That's our comfort zone. And we're going to be tending to go back there every time some test comes on the way. So, and I also want you to know that you're going to be tested and bring down back to your knees, basically, not because God wants you to fail, not because God wants you not to do that, not because you're not good enough, because this path is not for everyone. And the God universe wants to make sure that you fully committed to this process. So it's going to bring you down to your knees. And if you come back up from this test, it means that you've got what it takes for this step, that you're committed enough, that you're aware that it's not going to be easy and you've got what it takes to make the next step. So we want you to be aware that these tests are inevitable. They are coming no matter what. And it's up to you how you're going to react and what decisions you're going to make from there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the C in Beach Goals stands for count on your brain saying no. The past is a force that wants to remain in the present. Keep that in mind. Anytime you say, yes, I want to do this, you may have a little voice in the back of your head saying, no, you can't do that. Who are you to think that you can do that? Who are you to set this type of a goal? That's your past trying to keep you stuck and keep you there in the past, because the past doesn't want you to step into your future self. The past is scared. The past is you insert whatever it is in the past that has
the past is comfortable because you've been there for so long. It's your comfort zone.
It sucks, right? The past sucks because it's not where you want to be, but because it's comfortable, your brain will do everything in a slight second to make you second guess or question whether or not you've made the right choice.
And a lot of people will choose the comfort zone instead of following their scary dreams. So just be aware, it's coming.
And then the H in Beach Goals, and then we'll go back and we'll quickly review, do a review of all of them after. But hard does not equal success. So many times we look at this big, hairy, impossible goal and we think it's going to be so hard to get there. It doesn't have to be. There's a book that we're all reading right now. It's called 10X is Easier Than 2X by Benjamin Hardy. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend that you do. And he talks about making it easy. It doesn't have to be hard. You know, we have this huge goal of 10Xing Beach Boss in the next 4 years, right? By the end of the next 4 years, about 3.5 years we've got to do this. And for, you know, when we take a look at what it took to go from 1 million to 10 million, some people might look at that and say, oh, that's really hard. However, for us, we had systems, processes, and mentorship in place that helped us get there to make it easier than it probably was for a lot of people that are out there. So if we want to like bring this full circle, we're bringing it back to that snowplow. Who is it that has what you want that you can align yourself with? If you're in that janky Saturn trying to upgrade to that F-150, doesn't mean that you have to wait until you're an Ford F1, F-350 or whatever it is. I don't even know vehicles, but you don't have to wait until you're there to start your journey up the hill. Because if you have a snowplow that's paving the way for you, that's where it becomes easy.
So
Easy
I want
means
to also,
kind of
I want to
yourself.
bring more details because I'm a little bit further in the book, guys. I know some cool stuff. Like, because some people will say, well, how in the world 10X is easier than 2X, right? Like how? Like it just doesn't make sense, because immediately we think if you want 10X, you got to work 10 times harder, 10 times longer. No. This is the coolest part. It's not hard. It's actually easier, and it makes so much sense. So if I ask you right now, whoever is watching right now, what would you need to do to bring your business to 10%, to make more sales, 10% more sales, right? And they call it 2X because it's kind of like, schmeg goal. 10% is not that hard. So if I ask you, what do you need to do to increase your sales by 10%? You probably will give me 10, 20, 50 ideas how you can do it. So actually possibilities are almost limitless here because it's very small goal, 10%, like not big deal. I can probably tell you right now 20 things we could do to increase our sales by 10%. And some people like kind of like, yeah, it would be fine. So what happens when you have like million ideas how you can improve it by just a little bit? And that's actually how many businesses operate. And that's been taught throughout probably years, even business schools. When you have those millions of ways and millions of ideas, you will be probably implementing quite a bit of them, and you'll be stretching yourself so thin and doing all this million new things, and you will get to the 10% mark eventually. But because there's so many ways, so many spinning plays, the grind is almost like unbearable, right? We are burnout. We're doing millions of things. We're seeing the improvement, but it's like one step, like 2 inches at a time. And we're doing so much work. And we're like, yeah, 2 inches. That's concept been taught for years, right? 1% better each day, you'll get to 100%. So now when I'm going to ask you, what can you do to 10X your business in the next year? You will be lucky if you give me one idea or maybe two. That's it. So there's like, it shrunk how many ways you can get there to one or possibly two, or maybe even one tiny way that you think there is only like this path. So immediately it narrowed down your focus. So there's only one thing what you need to be focusing on to achieve your 10X, and immediately all these million other things, they disappear. So you become laser focusing on this one thing that's going to get you to 10X, and you put all your efforts and all your energy into this one path. So, and that's actually easier. You spend less time doing more thing and progressing towards your goal a lot faster. So I hope that makes sense. Yes, it's really scary when you're like, well, there's only one way how I can get there, but it's actually the best thing ever because you're going to be focusing on only one way instead of a million things. So I hope that makes sense to you guys, how 10X is actually easier than 2X. It makes total sense to me.
And so often when you are thinking about all the ways of things that you need to do, you're operating from a scarcity mindset, thinking that I can't let all these things go because I might not get there. Whereas when you think of an abundance mindset and thinking, okay, this is the way I'm going to get there, and God will deliver. I know that God, universe, is going to deliver because there is one way. You are laser focused on that one, maybe two things that is going to get you there, as opposed to thinking, oh, like I've got all these other things that I need to be doing. I can't let that go, and I can't let that go, and I can't let that go, because that might make me an extra $100. That might make me an extra whatever. No.
And a lot of times when you focus on those little improvements, kind of like taking the shovel, getting out of your Saturn and cleaning out the road yourself, right? You're going to miss that plow truck. You're going to miss that it just passed by and you can just start driving behind it because you're so focusing on what's like on the ground that you're going to miss that the helicopter just landed and waiting for you to jump in. But when you're focusing right on, let's say, this is my goal, this is how I'm going to get it, you're going to see that truck because it's or that helicopter, it's coming and you're going to see it because you're not down there plowing your own way with the little shovel. Makes sense? Yeah.
Awesome.
I love it. I love it. So for those who have watched, maybe you've watched us live, whether you're watching or recording, let us know what was your biggest takeaway from today's episode. And maybe you're watching this, listening to it on the Unleash Your Inner Badass podcast. I want you to write down what's your biggest takeaway and then go and take action on it. Right? Because you can listen and you can absorb all you want, but unless you're actually doing the work to unleash the inner badass, you're going to stay stuck, right? You're going to stay stuck as the Saturn. Transformation comes from doing the work to transform.
Yeah. So actually, for those who are listening, we have a very cool free resource for you that we call Fail and Fix Method. It's still kind of like in the stage of transforming into a badass program, but you can request to grab it right now. And once it's ready, we will send you a link. So comment. What do we want to comment?
Comment Fail and Fix.
Yeah. Fail and Fix or Fail and Fix Method. And a few days later, we will drop a link that you can click on and get a free training from us that will help you to create your own 10x goals and the path and the plow truck, to see the plow truck and to build your own snow tires and everything and the rocket ship. I love how it's all like, I mean, it makes so much sense to me, right? So comment Fail and Fix and we'll get you that link.
Yes. So thank you for joining us today. Go and take action, my friends, and we'll see you on the next episode next week.
Bye, guys.